Good morning, all. It's great to see so many people who come together to listen to us and listen to, about the Baltics in particular. What I would like to do is, first of all, introduce myself. Algirdas Vaitiekunas. I'm Australian, but with a name like that, you're probably thinking I'm not really Australian. I'm actually Lithuanian heritage. My parents are from Lithuania, but born in Australia, and I've come back all the way from Australia to live in Lithuania, and I've done that now for since 18 years ago. We might get into me a bit more later on, but more importantly about our organisation as such. Tarmo was talking about Baltic Horizon and that particular product and where it came from. I want to tell you a little bit about the actual organisation that we come from, the Northern Horizon Group, previously known as the Baltic Property Trust, or BPT. Maybe you've heard of that. Northern Horizon started out back in 2001 together with Lars Onnemus, who is our current chairman and of the board of the group. I started out with him back in those early years in 2001, 2002, and the business then was solely, predominantly just based on the Baltics. We were only interested in starting the business from investing into commercial real estate in the Baltic countries, which is an interesting place to start. Most of the capital there was coming from a Danish source, also from some local entrepreneurs from the Baltics and from the US. And from those early days, we, as Tarmo was mentioning, that the market back then was a bit of a cowboy territory where you could buy properties for double-digit yields, and then you just hold them for a while and sell them 5 years later, and you've made more than doubled your profit or doubled your money. And that was very true in those first days. And so the Baltic countries for us were core to our whole business. Over the time that we realized that our investors were looking for not just that great sort of investment that you can make with quick profits, but they also looked for other types of investments that we could provide for them. So over the time, Northern Horizon became a broader player around the Baltic Sea region, and with the Scandinavian ties, what's happened since is that we've invested or made funds investing into Germany, into Russia, and into the Scandinavian countries as well, and of course Poland, all around that region, such that today that we have Northern Horizon is managing 6 or 7 major mandates or funds that they've created themselves. But the main focus of it today, and the biggest strategy of the organization is to focus on 2 things. One is the Baltic countries, still, as that's why we're standing here, and the other is in healthcare products or aged care facilities, mainly in the Scandinavian region. They're the 2 areas. We still have some legacy funds, one in Germany, one in Russia. The run in Russia will be turning down as we're sort of getting away from the Russian market. I think it's a bit too risky. And then the German fund that we have still today in Berlin will be revamped and continued on. But the main focus is the healthcare business in the Scandi countries and the Baltics. Now, why the Baltics is important for us is because we've come to this position where we've created the Baltic Horizon, which is not your typical type of fund that we used to do. We would typically in the past raise some capital and then have the fund for a set period of years, typically 7 years or even 10 years, which puts you into the position where you've got these properties and then you're practically forced to exit or forced to sell the properties at maybe not the best time. And that was proven during the financial crisis, of course. We had one particular fund which was supposed to exit in 2010, and that was really not the right time to exit. Fortunately, with the commitment that we had with our investors and the ability to discuss with them what to do best, we were able to extend that particular fund, and we moved on till 2014 when it was a better time. But the issue there is that we did actually have these funds, and they were all exited and in accordance to their prospectus. But we feel that that sort of process is not the best sort of process, and we would prefer to go to an evergreen situation, such that with Baltic Horizon, which had that issue, we changed it, we put it, made it an IPO and listing out of it in the middle of this year, and now it's an evergreen fund so that it can grow, and we at management can therefore decide when to sell, when to buy, when to sell properties in that fund, so that you can get the best out of it. That's probably all I want to say about Northern Horizon Group at the moment, and